Ladies and gents, welcome back. I'll try to get through this as quick as possible. There's a lot of information to get through in this video. Now, yesterday, CSIS took the stand at the public inquiry into the use of the Emergencies Act. That's the Canadian Security Intelligence Service. There's a lot of acronyms here. Now, they put it out there that there was, even though there was no cause to, under Section 2 of the CSIS Act, in the Emergencies Act, to justify the use of the Emergencies Act, they were given other definitions. And one thing that they kept referring to was IMVEs, ideologically motivated violent extremism. Now, what most people were citing with the Freedom Convoy was the vision or the sightings of these flags, in particular a Nazi flag and a Confederate flag that were seen as the convoy was rolling in. Now, we all know that they were only seen on the first day and then they were gone, but that had already set the narrative that was needed to smear the convoy. Now, one particular image here is this one, and it was tweeted out by Ariel Troster, saying, "My friend who works in Engen just sent me this photo. Yes, it's a Confederate flag in case you had any doubts about the intentions of the racist convoy. Stay safe, friends." Now, Brendan Miller brought this up in the cross-examination into where was the investigation into this? If the IMVEs was the main concern here, did they investigate into who these were? And now some accusations ended up flying. I don't know if they're intentional accusations. Well, we'll just get into it. But let's just start with this.
So, and it's been clear. So online, that license plate number is BL, then it's got a crown in the middle, is 3, and I can literally tell you what it is, and people were trying to look it up. It's viewable. Did at any time CSIS do an investigation into who that license plate holder was?
Mr. Commissioner, I do not have the specific knowledge of this, and even if I had specific knowledge, we would not be at liberty to disclose specific details. Right. That's why there was an in-camera session with the Commissioner and Council. Okay,
and so the next document then would be...
and then he has to search in for these documents. There was a lot of stalling going on by the Government of Canada, stopping the cross-examination because of concerns about what was being shared or what evidence was being presented, wasting a lot of Brendan Miller's time in this. Now, we can go and we can see another photo of this truck. Now, the one that was shared throughout the media was the first image. This is a second image. I provide this to show context. No disrespect is intended, but this truck is by itself. It is not with the truckers. The convoy is about peaceful demonstrations. And, well, the whole point of asking that and getting a non-answer was they didn't look into this guy or whoever this person was. They weren't looking into this, and that's a real concern. Now, Brendan Miller continued on with his cross-examination. Here's some of that.
Were you aware that the first time that the picture of the gentleman all covered in army fatigues with a mask over his face, walking with a Confederate flag through a crowd, it first appeared in an opinion piece in the Toronto Star from someone who actually works for the Liberal Party of Canada? Were you aware of that?
Mr. Commissioner, my friend seems to be giving evidence now.
I'm asking if he's aware of it.
He asked a question, and I can guess at what the answer is going to be.
Right. Okay, but there's a presupposition of a fact that's not it.
Yeah, because you keep interrupting me when I'm trying to ask questions, and I'm running out of time.
Just please. Okay.
So
I'm not aware of the articles, and I'm not aware of those facts that you mentioned.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Are you aware of a company called Enterprise Canada?
Not specifically, no.
And have you identified the individual, one that it was all over the news, the gentleman that was carrying the Nazi flag? Have you identified him yet?
Mr. Commissioner, as I've said before, the specific details of our investigations have been shared, with Commission earlier. I would not be able to go into more specific details.
Okay. So I think that's it.
Right, yeah, no, and I
Thank
take
you.
it, and I take it then, sir, that you know that individual was Brian Fox from Enterprise Group.
I have not said anything of that respect to council. I have not testified to that, council.
Yeah, you haven't testified to it, but you know that to be true, don't you?
No, that's not fair. Firstly, not a fair statement. So please, and please don't, if you're going to make a statement, please make it. Don't make statements back to the crowd as you leave the podium, please. As council, you're well aware of the appropriate way to conduct yourself.
So a little frustration seen here by Brendan Miller as he was. You have to understand, Freedom Corp was only given 15 minutes in a whole day, seemingly a whole day of testimony. I believe it was somewhere in the ballpark of 6 hours of testimony. 15 minutes given to the Freedom Convoy council to ask questions of CSIS in this case here. Now, people are talking about this on social media. There's now credible evidence of a coordinated effort between the media, liberals, and crisis comms firms to plant and promote evidence of IMVEs, as ideologically motivated violent extremisms, in the convoy. And Miller was cut off before he could get there all the way, but it's real, and CSIS had to have known about it. Tom Marazzo replying to this saying, absolutely, Justin Trudeau had his talking points prepared before the convoy arrived. Who is Enterprise, and what is the connection to the Nazi Confederate flags? Interesting how PMO office was planning a U.S.-style Jan 6 narrative for themselves before the 28th when the convoy arrived. And that's what a lot of the evidence came forward as, seeing that they already had this planned. They had ideas. And we've all seen the images online, and this is the bad flag that was seen all by itself, like not with a convoy. You don't see this with the convoy. Now there's images here of the individual Brian Fox from open sources online, and then there's the images of this guy, masked up, wearing a hood and a hat and glasses, marching. Now, the other poignant thing, and I pointed this out before, was how far away from the convoy this is. Now, Alexa Lavoie did a video a while back where she was showing that even to get this this photograph, you'd have to be in a restricted area. And not only that, nobody had access to that balcony to wave these flags, which was also bizarre. Now, there was questions of why was Justin Trudeau's personal photographer seem to be with the guy who at the protest who just happened to have a brand new Confederate flag. Now the images here are of, and I'm not making these accusations, I'm just saying, just showing what people are talking about online. There's a guy who just happened to be there with a very expensive camera, happens to look a lot like the guy who is Justin Trudeau's personal photographer. And then obviously people running with the narrative, Jagmeet Singh jumping online to say, despite the display of racism and anti-Semitism we witnessed by the flying of Confederate flags and Nazi swastikas, vile, violent, and hateful MPs who attend this. And yeah, so just like demonizing the protest before it even got there. Of course, Viva Frei coming in here saying liar. And people saying, if you fly these, you're not with us. You're not part of this movement. This is not what we're about. But this was the idea of slandering these people before they even got to town. Now, we have here Lori Goldstein, public affairs firm Enterprise Canada says it's considering suing the Freedom Convoy organizers lawyer at the EA inquiry for making an absurd and despicable, in quotes, allegation that one of its senior execs carried a Nazi flag during the Freedom Convoy protest in Ottawa. Now, I reported on this at the time and said, this looks sus. Like, this doesn't look like a legitimate thing, part of the convoy. This was very, very suspect. Now, here's the article here. But Freedom Convoy lawyer Brendan Miller says he's protected by privilege from being sued, and he wants two Enterprise Canada executives to testify at the Public Order Emergency Commission about the sighting of Nazi and Confederate flags during the first weekend of the Ottawa protest last winter. And I welcome that 100%. Why not transparency? If there's grounds that Brendan Miller is in the wrong here, well, it would be good to air this, take the stand, testify to it, and clear your name. I think that would be the perfect way to go about this. And then we all know that, it was one way or the other. In a statement, Enterprise Canada senior consultant Andrew Tamilty said Miller made entirely unsubstantiated and deeply offensive accusation against the company principal Brian Fox. There is no truth to the absurd and despicable accusation. Neither Brian and there was no truth to the absurd and despicable accusation that was flying out there at the time amongst all the media and press. I mean, this is what we saw.
Swastikas and Nazi flags were seen at the Freedom Convoy protest in Ottawa over the weekend. I spoke to one hate crime researcher Monday who says politicians at the local level need to do more to prevent these symbols of hate from being shown at protests.
Yeah, so it went right into, this is what's going on. These are these people. We're not going to question the fact that maybe these have nothing to do with this convoy and that they were developing a narrative. And Brendan Miller gets into it more in the testimony with Bill Blair. And for the sake of this video, I can't get into that because I can't get into how long this is. Maybe I'll make a second video talking about this subject. But to keep things brief, I have to, and to let YouTube share these videos out, I have to keep them at a length that they want these videos to be at. So please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of this situation so far. But it seems that there was a narrative being brewed up to label the convoy as such. But then it led to a worse situation where the politicians, once the convoy arrived, they weren't going anywhere, and now they weren't able to negotiate with them because they had already slandered these people, and they didn't want to go back on the slander that they had issued against the convoy itself. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of this situation, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.